Lila? My voice cracked as I pushed open her apartment door. You home? The smell of her jasmine perfume floated through the air, familiar, warm, safe. I smiled for a moment, thinking maybe she'd surprise me again like she used to. But the laughter stopped me cold. It was low, hushed, then sharper, his laugh. Ryan. I froze near the hallway, heart thudding so hard it hurt. Stop, she whispered, giggling softly. He might come any second. I don't care, Ryan's voice came back. You said he's too busy working for you to notice. Something inside me broke before I even turned the corner. They were sitting on the couch, too close. Her hand was on his arm. His face near hers. My breath left me all at once. Lila? Her eyes widened, color draining from her face. Ryan shot up, guilt flashing and disappearing behind a smirk. Aiden, he said too casually. Hey, man. You're early. I stared at both of them, words choking in my throat. What is this? Lila stood, brushing imaginary dust off her dress. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. Ryan crossed his arms, sighing. Don't make it weird, bro. We were just talking. Talking? I laughed, but it came out strangled. You're sitting close enough to share a heartbeat. Lila frowned, eyes darting anywhere but at me. You're overreacting again. You always do this. Overreacting? My voice shook. I walk in and see you with my best friend, and that's me overreacting. Ryan stepped between us, raising his hands. Calm down, Aiden. Don't turn this into something it's not. Move, I said. He didn't. Ryan, move before I forget we're brothers. That word, brothers, seemed to sting him, but he still didn't move. She told me you've been distant. Always working, always tired. You left her alone, man. I stared at him in disbelief. You're blaming me? For your betrayal? No one's betraying anyone, Lila snapped. You never listen, Aiden. You think love is just flowers and promises, but people need more. People? My voice dropped to a whisper. Or you? Silence. Ryan finally stepped back, running a hand through his hair. Look, it's complicated. It's not, I said. You wanted her. She let you. That's all. Lila's eyes filled with tears, but her voice stayed cold. I didn't mean for this to happen. You don't mean betrayal, Lila. You choose it. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I couldn't stand the sight of them, my whole world standing together, crushing me between their lies. I turned toward the door, but Ryan grabbed my arm. Aiden, wait. Don't walk out like this. I ripped my arm free. You already made sure I couldn't come back. When the door slammed behind me, it felt like my chest did too. 3 days passed before she came by my apartment. I hadn't eaten. The walls felt smaller every hour. She stood in the doorway, holding the coffee I used to love. We need to talk. There's nothing left to say, I murmured. Her eyes softened. Ryan and I, it wasn't planned. It just happened. Those 3 words. I'd remember them forever. It just happened. I laughed, a broken, hollow sound. Do feelings just fall out of the sky onto someone else's boyfriend? Tears slipped down her cheeks. I still care about you, Aiden. Don't, I said. Don't say that. If you cared, you wouldn't have destroyed me. She looked at the floor. You changed. You became obsessed with work, with success. I felt invisible. And he made you feel seen. Her silence was my answer. You could have talked to me, I said. You could have told me you were hurting. Instead, you let me find out like that. I didn't want to hurt you. Then what do you call this? She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. The distance between us felt colder than death. I loved you, I whispered. More than my own life. I know, she said, barely audible. Then why wasn't that enough? She didn't reply. Just tears, soft and guilty, sliding down a face I once thought I'd grow old looking at. Finally, she said, I'm sorry, Aiden. I hope one day you'll understand. I stared at her, the woman who'd been my future. No. One day you'll understand. She left quietly. Her perfume lingered, haunting me for weeks. Ryan didn't call. He didn't need to. His silence said everything. I spent nights staring at my phone, wondering how long betrayal could echo in a man's chest. Mom came by once, worry etched across her face. You're losing yourself, Aiden. I already lost everything, I said. No, sweetheart, she whispered, touching my cheek. You lost people who never deserved you. But it didn't feel like that. It felt like I was the one not enough. When she left, I sat by the window until sunrise, watching the city wake while I fell apart. For the first time, I understood what emptiness truly was, not the absence of love, but the memory of it living inside someone else. That morning, I packed my bags. I didn't know where I was going, only that I couldn't stay. As I closed the door, I whispered to myself, they took everything from me. Someday. I'll take it back. And with that, I walked away from the ruins of my life, broken, breathless, but alive enough to begin again. I couldn't stop hearing his voice. It just happened, man. Those words looped in my mind like a curse. I sat on the floor of my apartment, surrounded by the wreckage of our photos, torn, scattered, useless memories. The night felt endless. My phone buzzed. Mom again. I didn't answer. 5 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I groaned. Mom, please, not tonight. Her voice came from the other side. Then when, Aiden? When will you let me in? I opened the door halfway. I'm fine. You look anything but fine, she said, stepping inside anyway. You've lost weight. You haven't shaved. You smell like you haven't slept in days. I'm trying, I muttered. She picked up one of the photos on the floor, me and Lila at the lake, smiling, carefree. She wasn't worth this. Don't say that. She hurt you, Aiden. You can't keep defending her. I'm not defending her, I said quietly. I'm trying to understand how everything I believed in could turn into a lie overnight. Mom sighed, sitting across from me. Sometimes people show you love they never meant to keep. I stared at the floor. Ryan was my brother. He promised he'd always have my back. He swore he'd never touch what was mine. And he broke that promise. I clenched my fists. I should have seen it. The late nights, the way she smiled when his name came up. I was too blind, too stupid. Mom reached for my hand. Don't destroy yourself for their choices. I pulled away. How do you not, when everything reminds you of them? She stayed quiet, just watching me. The silence pressed heavy on my chest. Finally, she said, then leave. Start somewhere else. You can't heal where you were broken. Leave. Yes, she said softly. You've been here too long, drowning in ghosts. I looked around, the apartment that once felt alive now smelled like stale coffee and regret. Where would I even go? Anywhere. Just far enough to remember who you are without them. Her words hit deep. I wanted to argue, but the truth sat there, undeniable. I'll think about it, I whispered. Promise me, she said. I hesitated. I've had enough of promises. She stood, tears glinting in her eyes. Then give yourself one. That night, I packed a single suitcase. Just clothes, my old journal, and a photo of Mom. Everything else, gone. The next morning, Ryan showed up. He looked tired, guilty maybe, though I couldn't tell if it was real or just another act. "You're leaving?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe like nothing had happened. I didn't answer. He looked around the room. "You're really doing it. Why are you here, Ryan?" He exhaled. "To talk. To make things right." "Right?" I laughed. "You don't get to say that word anymore." He rubbed his face. "I know I screwed up." "You didn't screw up," I cut him off. "You chose her. You lied to me. And then you tried to make me think I was paranoid." He looked down. "It just happened, man." There it was again. Those same words. I stepped closer. "Say that one more time, and I swear." He raised his hands. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I thought maybe she still loved you. Stop pretending you care about how far it went. You wanted her. You got her. End of story." Ryan swallowed hard. "She's not who you think she is." "No," I said. "She's exactly who I think she is now." For a second, I saw regret flash in his eyes. But I didn't care. "Get out," I said. "Aiden." I said get out. He hesitated, then nodded slowly. "I hope one day you'll understand why I slammed the door before he could finish. The silence afterward was unbearable, but also freeing. Hours later, I stood by the window, suitcase beside me, watching the sunrise spill over the city skyline. My phone buzzed again. Lila. I stared at her name. I didn't answer. Then came her message, "I'm sorry. Please don't hate me." I deleted it without reading further. There was no space left in me for her apologies. Mom called one last time. "Where are you going?" "I don't know yet," I said. "Maybe somewhere quiet. Somewhere no one knows my name." "You'll come back?" she asked. "When I'm someone worth coming back as." She paused. "You already are." I smiled faintly. "Not yet." At the bus station, I sat alone, suitcase at my feet. A couple nearby laughed, sharing headphones. I looked away. A kid walked past humming a song Lila used to love. I bit my tongue until I tasted blood. When the bus finally arrived, I took a deep breath and stepped on. Every part of me screamed to look back one last time, at the city, the memories, the ghosts, but I didn't. I found a seat near the window and whispered, "No more promises. No more lies." As the bus pulled away, I felt the weight of everything I'd lost pressing against my chest. But underneath it, something else stirred, quiet, dangerous resolve. If love had made me weak, pain would make me stronger. I didn't know where the road would lead, but for the first time since everything shattered, I was moving. And I promised myself this much: the next time they saw me, I wouldn't be the man they broke. "Don't look back," Marcus said, his voice cutting through the noise of the trading floor. "The past is a luxury. You can't afford it." I nodded, forcing my eyes to stay on the screen. "I'm not looking back." "Good," he said. "Because the guy who keeps checking the rearview mirror always crashes first." He didn't know how literal that felt for me. My whole life had been one long wreck, and I was still crawling out of the debris. "I just need to win," I muttered. Marcus chuckled. "You don't need to win, Aiden. You decide to. Every damn day." That line stuck with me. I decided to win. I decided not to break again. Years blurred into deals, sleepless nights, and endless coffee. Pain was fuel now, a bitter kind, but it worked. Marcus became my mentor, though he'd never call himself that. He taught me how to see through people, how to read lies hidden between smiles. Trust is a transaction, he said once. Never give it away for free. I laughed. I learned that the hard way. He raised a brow. Then maybe you won't repeat it. But I did, in my own way. Every time I stayed late, every time I pushed myself to exhaustion, I was still chasing something, a ghost named closure. One evening, Marcus tossed a file onto my desk. You're running the Rosen deal. It's big, brutal, and full of snakes. Don't flinch. I won't, I said. He grinned. Good. That's the bastard I trained. When he left, I stared at the window reflection, sharp suit, steady gaze, no trace of the naive kid I used to be. The boy who once believed in love was gone. Or so I thought. I met Ellie at a charity event. She was standing near the piano, soft music playing, her smile quiet but genuine. You don't look like you want to be here, she said. I don't, I replied. Then why are you? Business, I said. Networking. The usual corporate self-punishment. She laughed, an easy, warm sound that didn't fit in that cold room. And what about you? I asked. I volunteer here. I like seeing people pretend to care. Her honesty caught me off guard. So you see through people too? Only the ones hiding something, she said, eyes flicking to mine. You've got that look. What look? The kind that says you've been hurt but pretend it made you stronger. Her words hit like a punch. You don't know me. Maybe not. But I know pain when I see it. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. Nobody had called me out in years. Days turned into weeks. I kept running into her, coffee shops, client dinners, even the park near my apartment. She had this strange way of finding me when I least expected it. Do you ever slow down? She asked one night after I nearly bumped into her, phone glued to my ear. Not if I can help it. That's not strength, you know. It's avoidance. I sighed. You sound like a therapist. I'm a teacher, she said. But sometimes it's the same thing. We walked in silence for a while. The city lights reflected in her eyes. I felt something shift, something I thought I'd buried years ago. Ellie, I said quietly, what makes you so sure I'm worth knowing? She smiled faintly. Because you're still trying. I didn't have a response to that. At work, Marcus noticed the change. You're distracted, he said during a late meeting. I'm fine. Liar. I looked up. Since when do you care? Since I saw you smiling. Men like us don't smile unless we're about to lose something. He wasn't wrong. Her name's Ellie, I admitted. He groaned. Christ, Aiden. Don't mix emotions with business. That's how you fell the first time. This isn't the same. It always starts with that line, he said. Then it ends with pain. I didn't answer. Maybe because part of me knew he was right. But the other part, the small, reckless part, wanted to believe people could be different. Weeks later, I found myself sitting across from Ellie at a quiet diner. You look tired, she said. I've been worse. You hide behind work, she said softly. You wear success like armor. Maybe armor's all I've got. She leaned closer. No, Aiden. That's all you let yourself have. Her words burned deeper than she knew. You don't get it, I said. People lie. People leave. That's all they do. She looked sad, not angry. Then maybe you're meeting the wrong people. Silence stretched between us. For the first time in years, I didn't have a comeback. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing her voice. Maybe you're meeting the wrong people. I stared at the ceiling, the city lights cutting through the blinds. For years, I'd built walls so high even I couldn't see over them. Marcus once told me pain was the best teacher. Maybe Ellie was proof that healing could be won too. I wasn't ready to open up, not yet. But for the first time since everything fell apart, I wanted to try. And maybe that was enough. The moment I stepped off the train, the air hit me, familiar, heavy, almost mocking. My hometown hadn't changed. Same cracked sidewalks, same gray sky. Only I had. Back for good, the cab driver asked as he loaded my suitcase. Just visiting, I said, though the lie tasted strange. The ride through Main Street was a blur of ghosts, old stores, old faces, old wounds. I wasn't that boy anymore. I was the man who'd learned to turn pain into profit. When I pulled up outside the cafe, the universe decided to test me. Ryan. He was standing there, laughing, or trying to, as he helped Lila out of the car. Time had drained them both. His eyes carried the weight of choices, hers the dullness of regret. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Then he turned. His laughter died mid-sound. Aiden. I smiled, calm, practiced. Ryan. Been a while. He blinked like he wasn't sure I was real. 5 years, man. You look different. I said lightly. Time's expensive. I made sure to use it well. Lila's hand tightened around her purse. You came back. Business, I said. There's talk of new investments in town. Thought I'd see it myself. Ryan forced a laugh. Still chasing money, huh? Still losing it? I replied before I could stop myself. Silence. Her lips parted slightly, not surprise, just quiet guilt. He cleared his throat. Didn't think you'd ever come back after everything. Neither did I said. But life's funny. The things that break you end up building you. Lila spoke softly. You sound different. Different tends to happen when the world ends, I said. And then restarts. She looked away, and for a brief second, I almost pitied her. Almost. Inside the cafe, Ryan tried to act normal. You remember this place? He asked, gesturing to the same cracked booths and coffee-stained counters. How could I forget? I said. This is where we made all those promises. He winced. You don't have to. Relax, I interrupted. I'm not here to dig graves. I buried the past long ago. Lila whispered, did you? Her voice shook something in me. Enough to stand here without breaking, I said quietly. Ryan rubbed the back of his neck. Look, Aiden, about what happened back then. Don't, I said sharply. You said what you had to. You did what you wanted. We all moved on. I didn't mean to. Ryan, I said, cutting him off again, you meant it enough to do it. He looked down. Lila's eyes shimmered, but she didn't speak. I could feel her guilt pressing between us like a wall. So, I said, leaning back, how's life treating you too? Ryan hesitated. Rough couple of years. Business went under. Things got hard. I smiled faintly. I see. Guess karma does keep receipts. Lila flinched. You think we deserve that? I don't think anything, I said. I just observe. She exhaled shakily. You sound like someone else. I am someone else, I said. A man who learned not to beg for love or loyalty. Ryan tried to joke. Guess money changed you. Pain did, I said. He fell silent. When I stood to leave, Lila rose too. Aiden, wait. I turned, watching her search for the right words. You hate me, she said finally. I don't, I said. Hate requires emotion. You used up all mine. Her eyes watered. I'm sorry. For everything. I nodded slowly. I'm sure you are. But sorry doesn't fix what it breaks. Ryan looked like he wanted to say something, but I was already walking away. Outside, the wind was colder than I remembered. My reflection in the cafe window stared back, tailored suit, composed smile, eyes like stone. I'd come back to prove I was over them. And maybe I was. But beneath the calm, a quiet fire still burned, not of love, not of pain, but of power. They'd taken my heart once. Now, I held their peace of mind in return. As I walked down that familiar street, I realized something. Revenge didn't always need to be loud. Sometimes, it just needed to be seen, in the smile of the man they thought they destroyed. Mr. Grant, it's really good to see you, Ryan said, shaking my hand. The tremor in his fingers was subtle, but I felt it. Ryan, I said smoothly. It's been a long time. He smiled, too wide. Yeah, it has. Lila hovered behind him, eyes flicking between us like a guilty child. We're honored you could meet us today. I nodded. Of course. Let's get down to business. As we walked into the conference room, I noted every movement. The way Ryan adjusted his tie, the way Lila's hands clutched her purse, the slight hitch in her breath when she realized I was calm, composed, untouchable. You've built quite a reputation, Ryan began, voice low, almost pleading. We'd like to partner with you. Your company, it's exactly the growth we've been looking for. I tilted my head, letting my smile linger. Is that so? Yes, he said quickly. We think together, we could. Enhance profits, I interrupted. I know. He blinked. You know. I know more than you think. The color drained from his face. Lila's fingers tightened around her bag strap. You've followed our company. Ryan stammered. I leaned back, pretending to adjust my chair. Naturally. Business intelligence is part of my habits. Lila looked at him, panicked. Ryan, maybe we should. No, I said sharply. Let him speak. I enjoy honesty. Ryan swallowed. We can offer you 40% stake, profit sharing. I nodded slowly. Generous. But tell me, are you prepared for the risk? He hesitated, eyes flicking nervously to Lila. Risk? Of losing it all, I said. One bad deal, one mistake, and everything could collapse. I understand, he said, voice shaking. Good. Fear tasted better than I imagined. You're sure you understand? I asked, leaning forward, letting the shadow of my presence fill the room. Yes. Absolutely, he said. We're ready. I allowed a pause, letting silence stretch, heavy and suffocating. Very well, I said finally. Then I'll consider your proposal. But first, tell me, do you trust each other? Lila flinched. Ryan's jaw tightened. Of course, he said, too quickly. Good, I murmured. Because trust is rare. And fragile. Ellie's voice came to me like a whisper I couldn't ignore. Revenge doesn't heal. I clenched my fists under the table. She didn't understand. I didn't want healing. I wanted them to feel the emptiness they'd left inside me. You seem confident, Lila said, voice almost pleading. I smiled faintly. Confidence comes from knowing what others cannot see. Ryan swallowed hard. We'll meet any requirements. Just tell us what you need. I leaned back, watching them squirm. Then start by admitting one thing. Ryan's brow furrowed. Admitting what? That you underestimated me. He froze. I never. You did, I said. Every late night you laughed behind my back. Every word you whispered. You assumed I'd stay broken, forgotten. Lila's hand covered her mouth. Aiden. Call me Aiden here, I said softly, letting the name linger between us like a threat. Ryan swallowed. We made mistakes, he admitted. Yes, I said, voice calm but sharp. And now you face the consequences. Quiet. Invisible. Slowly. Lila's eyes filled with tears. You're enjoying this too much. I shrugged. Not enjoyment. Observation. This is the balance of life. Ryan's hand twitched over his pen. I swear, You swore a long time ago, I said. Words mean nothing without action. Look at yourselves. The world hasn't been kind. You're falling apart. He swallowed again. We've learned. Not enough, I said. Not yet. You're still hungry, desperate. I can see it. And you? Lila asked quietly. Aren't you still empty? I met her gaze, letting her feel it, the hollow fire that drove me, sharpened me. I learned to live with it. To use it. Her lips trembled. But it must hurt. Everything hurts, I said. But power tastes different. Sweet, bitter, necessary. Ryan's shoulders slumped, and for the first time, I saw the weight of reality crush him. Lila's fingers shook. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The fear, the regret, the desperation, they were all visible enough. Consider this meeting the first of many, I said. I'll think about your proposal. Ryan nodded, words failing him. Lila's eyes begged silently for mercy. I stood, collected my briefcase, and smiled politely. I look forward to our next encounter. As they watched me leave, I felt a strange satisfaction, a cold, sharp pleasure that didn't heal, didn't redeem. It was exactly what I wanted. Ellie's voice lingered in my mind again, revenge doesn't heal. I didn't care. I wasn't here for healing. I was here to show them the emptiness they left inside me, mirrored in their own eyes. And it was delicious. The first text came at 9 a.m. Aiden, please. Call me. It's urgent. I stared at it, phone in my hand. Lila. I didn't answer. An hour later, another, I know you hate me, but you have to hear this. I ignored it. By noon, Ryan's company was splashed across every business site. Bankruptcy. Fraud allegations. The empire he'd built, gone. I leaned back in my chair, a strange calm settling over me. Then my phone buzzed again. Lila. Please, meet me. Just 5 minutes. I need you. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to leave her begging. Part of me wanted to see her face, wanted to hear the words she'd never spoken before. I replied, 5 p.m. park bench near the old fountain. Don't be late. She came early. Eyes red, hair messy, hands shaking. Aiden, she whispered. I didn't move. I just looked. Ryan, he cheated on me, she said, voice breaking. I didn't see it. I trusted him, You believed him? I asked, calm but sharp. I did, she said, tears spilling. I thought he loved me. I thought I made the right choice. I didn't answer. I let her words hang between us. I was wrong, she whispered. So wrong. And now everything's falling apart. And you want me to care? I asked quietly. She flinched. I need you to know. You were the one I should have chosen. I stared at her. Her hand reached toward mine. I didn't move. You feel nothing, she said softly. I shook my head slightly. I feel enough. Enough to know that you finally understand. But her voice cracked. I never should have left you for him. I don't know why I thought I could. Stop, I said. My voice was steady, almost cold. Don't give me excuses. Don't beg for forgiveness. You're too late. Her lips trembled. Please. Aiden, I'm sorry. I know, I said. And that's all you get. Nothing else. Not tears, not words, not your apologies. She looked down at her hands, defeated. He betrayed me too. And now I understand what it feels like. Good, I said softly. Good that you feel it. That's the balance of life. I never thought karma would be this cruel, she whispered. I studied her. The woman I once loved, the girl I once trusted, standing broken before me. The sight should have hurt. It didn't. Not anymore. You have to live with it now, I said. Just as I lived with it back then. Just as I learned from it. I don't know how to face him, she said. Or myself. Then start with yourself, I said. Stop blaming the world, stop blaming me. Face yourself first. Her eyes met mine again, searching, pleading. Will you ever forgive me? I shook my head slowly. Forgiveness isn't mine to give. That's something you earn by not repeating your mistakes. She fell silent. I could hear her shallow breaths, the sound of someone unraveling. I was stupid, she whispered finally. I thought Ryan was my future. I thought I knew love. I know, I said. I once thought the same about someone else. And I was wrong too. But I moved on. She leaned back, eyes closed, tears dripping down. I wish I could turn back time. I didn't respond. I stood slowly, letting the wind brush past me. Time doesn't move backward. Only forward. And I suggest you start walking. She looked up, hope flickering briefly. Aiden. Goodbye, Lila, I said softly. And remember, this is the life you chose. Her shoulders slumped. She whispered something I didn't catch. I didn't care. Ryan called later that night. Desperate. Begging. Trying to negotiate, trying to explain, trying to save what little dignity he had left. Please, Aiden, he said. We can fix this. I can make it right. Ryan, I said, my tone flat, cold. The only thing you can fix is yourself. I'm done with you. With both of you. The rest, you'll figure out on your own. Silence. Then a shaky, defeated, I understand. And that was it. I hung up and sat alone in my apartment. The room was quiet. No texts, no calls, no demands. And for the first time in years, I felt nothing. No relief. No satisfaction. Just silence. I closed my eyes and whispered to myself, this is what it feels like when the world balances itself. The pain of the past had come full circle, but I was no longer the one broken by it. I was standing. Watching. Waiting. And the emptiness they left me with. I had filled it with strength. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel revenge. I felt inevitability. And that was enough. The pounding on my door came before I even heard his voice. Aiden. Open up. I know you're in there. I didn't move. Aiden. Ryan shouted again, slurred, angry. Don't hide from me. I grabbed the door handle, opened it a crack, and glared at him. Ryan. What are you doing here? He stumbled inside, reeking of alcohol, eyes wild. You ruined everything. I trusted you. You. Stop, I said firmly. Calm down before you hurt yourself. Calm down, he laughed bitterly. I've lost everything because of you. My company, my reputation, even Lila. Me? I asked, voice low. You lost those things yourself. He shook his head violently. No. No, it's because of you. You came back, acting like you were better than us. And you were. I didn't ruin your life, Ryan, I said. You did that all on your own. He laughed, but it was hollow, trembling. You're heartless now. You were always too smart, too perfect. I should have known. You should have, I said. But it's not about me. It's about you, and the choices you made. He swung a fist toward the wall, missing me by inches. You think you're so strong. You think revenge makes you whole. You're nothing but a monster. I'm not a monster, I said calmly. I just stopped letting people break me. That's all. Ha, he barked. Stop letting people break you. You are broken, Aiden. You just hide it behind money, behind power, behind that stupid Ellie girl. I stiffened at the mention of Ellie. Don't talk about her, I said. She's weak. She doesn't understand. You don't understand, he shouted, tears starting to fall. I watched him crumble in front of me, the man I once called a brother, reduced to trembling, sobbing mess. Ryan, look at you. This is the life you made for yourself. I tried, he cried. I tried to fix it. I wanted everything back. I wanted, his voice broke. I wanted you. I wanted your life. I felt a strange chill. That desperation. I remembered it. I remembered how hollow it felt to lose everything I loved. You're crying, I said softly, almost whispering. You're broken, just like I was. But I survived. You survived, he said, voice shaking. No, Aiden, you didn't survive. You became this thing. Heartless. Cruel. Maybe, I admitted. Maybe I did. But I also learned. I learned not to let people destroy me. He fell to his knees, sobbing openly. I've lost it all. Lila left me. My company's gone. My father disowned me. I've got nothing. I didn't move. I didn't speak. Why? He whispered finally. Why aren't you enjoying this? Why aren't you gloating? I shook my head slowly. Because revenge doesn't fill anything. You think I'm different? I'm not. I just chose not to fall apart in front of everyone. He looked up at me, eyes red, pleading. Then why? Why did you make me feel this? Why make me realize what I've lost? Because you needed to see it, I said quietly. Because I needed to see it too. His shoulders shook. You're no better than me, Aiden. We're the same. For a moment, he was right. The fire of revenge, the satisfaction of power, the control I had over them, it had changed me. I felt it, deep in my chest. You're right, I said softly. Maybe I'm no better. Maybe I've let this anger, this bitterness, make me hard. Maybe I've become someone I don't even recognize. He stared at me, tears streaking down his face. Then, what now? I stepped back. Now. I walk away. I stop feeding ghosts from the past. You live with your mistakes. I live with mine. And that's enough. He shook his head, trying to form words. No, please. I turned toward the door. No. You've done enough. I didn't look back. I walked down the hallway, letting the weight of the night press against me. When I got outside, the city was quiet, empty. My hands were trembling. My chest ached. The satisfaction I thought I'd feel was gone, replaced by something else, the hollow echo of revenge, the realization that I'd almost become like them. Ellie was waiting across the street. She stepped forward, hands soft on my shoulders. Aiden, you've already won. Stop fighting ghosts. I let her touch me. I thought I wanted revenge, I admitted. I thought I wanted them to feel pain. And, she asked quietly. And now, I closed my eyes, letting the night air fill me. I see that revenge doesn't change the past. It doesn't make anything better. It only leaves you empty, like me. I have to stop. She nodded. You can. You just have to let it go. I don't know if I can, I said honestly. But I'll try. She smiled faintly. That's enough for tonight. I looked at her, at the quiet street, at the cold wind. For the first time in years, I felt something beyond anger, beyond revenge. Something fragile, uncertain, but alive. And maybe, just maybe, that was the first step toward being free. The knock at my door was soft, hesitant. I opened it. Lila stood there. Hair messy, eyes red, lips trembling. Nothing left. Aiden, she whispered. I didn't step aside. Lila. My voice was calm, neutral. I need to say something, she said. I know I've lost the right to ask for anything, but please, hear me. I studied her. The woman I once loved was gone. A stranger remained, broken and empty. I'm sorry, she said, tears spilling freely. For everything. For leaving you, for choosing him, for hurting you. You hurt me enough, I said softly. Do you understand that? Yes, she whispered. I do. And I regret it. Every day. Every moment. I've lived with it, and I can't. I can't undo what I did. I nodded slowly. I know you can't. That's why I don't hate you anymore. She blinked, hope flickering. You forgive me? Yes, I said. I forgive you. But, I paused, letting the weight of the word sink. I can't forget. Her shoulders slumped. She fell to her knees, hands covering her face. I understand. I deserve this. You do, I said. But that's not why I let you fall. I let go for me, not you. Her lips quivered. For you. I nodded. For myself. Holding on to this anger, this fire, it's been my world for years. And today, I realize I don't need it anymore. She lifted her head slowly, eyes searching mine. Does that mean, you won't hate me anymore? I don't hate you, I said. Not really. I only remember the lessons you left me with. And I carry those forward. I thought you'd never speak to me again, she whispered. I almost didn't, I admitted. Almost. But anger and revenge, they only trap you. I've been trapped long enough. Her tears fell silently. I wish I could turn back time. You can't, I said gently. And that's not the point. The point is, we move forward. Separately, if we must. She nodded, shivering. I don't know how to thank you. Don't, I said. You've done enough to live with already. Letting go, that's your gift to yourself, not me. Her hand reached toward mine, tentative, almost pleading. I didn't move. I wanted to touch you one last time, she whispered. To remember, before everything. I looked at her, at the broken pieces of the past laid bare. You remember me in your own way, I said softly. And I'll remember you in mine. But I don't need more than that. She let her hand fall. I understand. I took a step back. The quiet between us stretched, heavy but calm. Goodbye, Lila, I said, voice steady. Take care of yourself. That's all I ask. She nodded. Words failed her. I saw her turn, walk down the path, shoulders hunched, carrying her own weight. I closed the door slowly, letting it click shut. Alone, I leaned against it, eyes closing. The fire I'd carried for years, revenge, anger, pain, was gone. Only calm remained. A strange, fragile calm. I sat down on the floor, letting the silence wash over me. I didn't need to relive the past. I didn't need to fight shadows anymore. Ellie's words echoed in my mind, "You've already won, stop fighting ghosts." I smiled faintly. She was right. I had won, not through revenge, not through proving them wrong, but through letting go. The pain was still there, faint, a memory. But it didn't hurt anymore. It only reminded me of who I had become. I stood, walked to the window, and looked out at the city. The lights twinkled like distant promises. I had left the past behind, not for them, not for anyone, but for myself. For the first time in years, I felt peace. Not joy, not triumph, just the quiet contentment of a fire finally extinguished. And that was enough. "Morning, Aiden," Ellie said, sliding a cup of coffee across the table. "Morning," I replied, smiling faintly. "You're early." "I wanted to see you before the meeting," she said. "You look different today." "Different?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "You seem lighter." "Less tense," she said, stirring her coffee. "Like the storm finally passed." I chuckled softly. Maybe it has. Or maybe I just stopped letting it define me. Ellie's eyes softened. "You've come a long way, Aiden. I've never seen you like this before." "I've had a lot of time to think," I admitted. "Time to figure out what really matters." "You mean revenge?" she asked with a teasing smirk. I laughed, low and warm. "Not anymore. That chapter's closed. I realized revenge wasn't about hurting them. It was about proving to myself I could rise again." Ellie nodded, smiling. "I'm glad you see that now. You deserved peace, not endless fighting." I leaned back, sipping my coffee. "And it's not just peace. I'm rebuilding, Ellie. Rebuilding the man I lost." She raised an eyebrow. "How so?" "For starters. I visit my mom more often. She worries less when I'm around. I'm reconnecting with the people I left behind, the life I abandoned." "That's good," she said softly. "You've been carrying so much alone for so long." "I know," I said, looking out the window at the city lights. "It's amazing how much weight we carry without realizing it. I thought I needed to punish them, punish the world, but all I needed was to heal myself." Ellie reached out, touching my hand. "And you're doing that now?" "Yes," I said, feeling the warmth of her hand. "And having you here helps too. You've been, more than a friend, Ellie. You've kept me grounded when I could have lost myself completely." She smiled faintly. "Maybe I'm allowed to be more than a friend, someday." I laughed softly, heart lighter than it had been in years. "Maybe. But no rush. We've got time to figure that out." Her eyes sparkled, a quiet understanding passing between us. "You know, seeing you like this, it gives me hope too. That people can change. That pain doesn't have to define us." "It does, sometimes," I said, "but only if we let it. I've let it shape me, not chain me. And it's made all the difference." Ellie leaned back, sipping her coffee. "I'm proud of you, Aiden. Really proud." I smiled, feeling a calm I hadn't known in years. "Thanks, Ellie. I needed that more than you know." The doorbell rang, and I realized it was my mother. "Aiden? Are you home?" "I'm here, Mom," I called, setting down my cup. Ellie stood and waved. I'll let you two catch up. I walked to the door and opened it. My mother's eyes lit up when she saw me. Aiden. I've missed you. I've missed you too, Mom, I said, hugging her tightly. The warmth, the comfort, it felt like coming home after a long, lonely journey. You've grown, she said softly, looking at me. I can see it in your eyes. I've had to, I admitted. The past, it taught me lessons I couldn't learn any other way. But I'm ready now. Ready to move forward, not backward. She nodded, tears glinting. I'm proud of you, Aiden. Truly. I smiled, letting the weight of years lift. The pain, the betrayal, the anger, it was all behind me now. And for the first time in a long time, I felt whole. Come on, Mom, I said, taking her hand. Let's catch up. There's a lot I want to tell you. Ellie watched us from the kitchen doorway, smiling softly. Looks like he's finally home, she whispered to herself. I didn't need anything else. I had my peace, my family, and someone who truly understood me. Life had come full circle, and I was ready to begin again. I stepped onto the balcony, the city lights stretching endlessly before me. The hum of life below felt distant, like a world I used to know but no longer belonged to. Ellie joined me, leaning on the railing beside me. It's beautiful, she said softly. It is, I replied, taking a deep breath. The night air was crisp, calming. I never imagined I'd be here. Not like this. You've earned it, she said, glancing at me. You've worked so hard, Aiden. I did, I admitted. But it wasn't just about work, it was about surviving, about proving to myself I could rise again. And I did. Ellie smiled faintly. I'm proud of you. You're different now. Stronger. I've learned a lot, I said, voice quiet. About anger, about revenge, about myself. About who I wanted to become versus who I was becoming. She studied me. And who are you now? I chuckled softly, leaning on the railing. I'm someone who's finally free. Free from the past, free from the fire that used to consume me. Do you ever think about them? She asked. Lila? I asked first. Ryan? Yes, she said, voice gentle. Do you hate them? I shook my head. No. Not anymore. Not really. I've reached a point where I can say thank you instead of hate them. Ellie raised an eyebrow. Thank them? Yes, I said, looking out at the city lights. Thank you, Lila. Thank you, Ryan. She frowned slightly. You're serious? I nodded. They broke me, yes. They betrayed me. But that fire, that anger, it built me too. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if it weren't for them. Ellie stayed silent, watching me. I know it sounds strange, I said, voice low. Gratitude for pain. But it's the truth. Every betrayal, every loss, every sleepless night, it led me here. And do you feel peace now? She asked softly. Yes, I said after a pause. For the first time in years, I feel peace. Not joy. Not triumph. Just calm. The fire that used to own me is gone. It's mine now, but it doesn't burn me anymore. She smiled, reaching out and taking my hand. I've never seen you like this before. You're whole. I'm trying, I said, squeezing her hand gently. I'm finally trying to be the man I wanted to be. Not the boy who was betrayed, but someone stronger, wiser. Ellie leaned her head against my shoulder. I'm glad I'm here to see it. To be part of it. And I'm glad you are, I said, feeling the warmth of her presence. You've been my anchor, Ellie. My reminder that not everyone will hurt me, that not all love is betrayal. The city below twinkled like distant stars. The memories of Lila, of Ryan, of my past life, they were still there, but muted. Shadows that no longer controlled me. I used to wish I could rewrite everything, I whispered. Change the past, undo the pain, undo the mistakes. And now? Ellie asked quietly. And now, I smiled faintly, taking a deep breath. I understand that I can't. I can only move forward. Carry the lessons, let go of the hurt, and be the man I was meant to be. Ellie nodded, squeezing my hand. That's beautiful, Aiden. Truly. I let the wind brush my face, letting the quiet of the night fill me. I've let go, I whispered to myself. Not of them, but of the pain that once owned me. And I finally feel free. Ellie rested her head on my shoulder again. Then we begin, she said softly. Yes, I said, voice steady. A new beginning. A life I choose for myself. I looked out at the city lights, and for the first time in years, I smiled without hesitation, without regret. The boy who was betrayed was gone. The man who returned, was finally home.